two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and their attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast, yeah, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with your boy Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and the Heartbreak Dude Denton. And this is our AEW Fight Forever edition. We're going to talk all things Rampage, Collision, and Dynamite. And we got some predictions that we're going to do for their little mini pay-per-view. And of course, we always end with our least and most valuable people of the week. Ryan, how you doing? How you feeling today?
It's Friday, man, and feeling good. We got SmackDown tonight, the second one on the USA Network. So jam-packed show. And then AEW, man, they got 3 straight weeks of some good stuff. They have their Dynamite Grand Slam next week, and then the following that next Saturday, I believe, is Wrestle Dream, and then they have their 2-year anniversary show. A 5-year anniversary.
5 year, yeah. I was like 2 years.
Yeah, it's on October the 2nd. It'll be their. It's the go home show for Wrestle Dream, which is kind of weird to have their 5-year anniversary show then. Why not have it after? But but either way, it's an exciting time for AEW.
I think so. We have other news we'll talk about right now too. I gotta say, with SmackDown on Fox, I was a little disappointed. SmackDown, whenever it went over on time, always had like 5-minute buffer or whatever. They like pre-recorded it. SmackDown on Fox didn't this week when they switched over to USA. When it switched over to USA, I was like, what in the? I didn't get the whole thing. I had to go find the end segment with Roman Reigns and Cody agreeing to
the closing credits.
And the closing credits. But I was peed off because I was like, oh man, now I have to do like I do on Dynamite where I have to record the freaking show after. Are you always going to run over on? Like, what the heck, USA? Raw never goes over on time. So
the thing, that was my pet peeve though about SmackDown on Fox was it would end at like 9:53 or 9:54. Eastern Standard Time, so it'll be like 6 minutes, and I'm like, oh, it's done already, and like that's plenty of time for somebody to come out or some way to advance a story or something. But no, it would just go off the air to make room for your late local news. And I'm just
they did that. I would always it did throw you off too, because it would end before like the market and like 58. You're like, oh, okay, cool beans, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, somebody could come out right now, and
I mean, or at least show some executive producer credits. Like, geez, like get with it.
I wonder if they'll do that tonight, or if they'll keep going, or if that was a one-time thing.
I'm telling you, it was a troll job. I'm telling you, just to call out those people.
Because they didn't do it on Raw or NXT. They only did it on SmackDown.
No, that was like a joke. All right, what's this? We got a Patrick Anthony. Do you remember when Raw used to start at 7:57 like a random? Yes, that was all Attitude Era, because that's what WCW did, because they wanted to like entice the people before, when actually hourly times mattered. Do you remember too that every like first hour, second hour would be like a big fight or a big promo? We start things now like at 48. Like, here comes Moxley to have a conversation.
Yeah,
or
AEW is the worst at that. Yeah,
set your times up, suck people in, man. I feel like that's still a thing. I don't know why, but yeah. But that was the Eric Bischoff. He changed all of that. He ruined it for everyone. He created live TV, and then he created starting 3 minutes before, ending 8 minutes after, to like get those extra ratings after Raw went off the air when it was pre-recorded and yada. But all right, you ready for some news?
Yeah, there's some a couple of little tidbits of breaking news. So we'll go into the negative first and kind of get that out of the way. But there's a rumor going around that Miro, formerly known as Rusev in the WWE, has requested his release after 4 years of being in AEW. So I
confirmed that?
Let's see. It's not been. I don't think it's been confirmed. But it's
usually
being
those are pretty accurate. Yeah.
yeah, it's being reported by Fightful that he's asked for his release from AEW after spending all of 2024 on the sidelines. His last match was at World's End again in a match last year in December of 2023 against Andrade, who's also back in the WWE. He was out of action for a long time after that, but has been healthy for a while. He only worked 7 matches last year and 11 since December of 2021. At one point, apparently, AEW considered using him for the Casino Gauntlet match at All In this year, and he pitched working with Jon Moxley earlier this year. But apparently, the rumors are that Miro and AEW have been rumored to have difficulties agreeing over his creative during his time there. So, if that's true, then good riddance, because you got to do, like, if you want to be on TV, put yourself over and do what you got to do. But I don't like Ricky Starks apparently is having issues with agreeing to creative as well. That's the latest rumor about him. And so it's also kind of like, all right, I mean, I get you don't want to look like an idiot when you're out there, but at the same time, if you get on TV and you get over and the fans like you, you can move on to bigger and better things by doing this. So I don't, this kind of makes whenever I hear about them having issues with creative, it kind of makes me think all right, well, maybe good riddance, maybe you're a little bit of a diva.
I mean, I'm sure when The Undertaker was told he was going to be The Undertaker, he was like, oh gosh, here's another dying, thing.
Yeah,
but
he made it work.
And now it's one of the biggest top 5 WWE wrestlers of all time. My thing is that I think they're just both doing it because they want out. That to me doesn't sound like a creative decision. That sounds like I don't want to be here anymore, so I'm just gonna say I don't have creative. I mean, they both probably want to go to WWE, and that's fair.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But just think about Miro for a second. He was Rusev in WWE, and he was only used properly once. He had a John Cena run a little bit or something against them, and then he just kind of
he lost.
Was always
John
not.
Cena.
Rusev Day which was fun, but then they kind of got rid of that, and then he went to AEW, and all of a sudden it was like, this is how you book Rusev. He was undefeated monster. He had that TNT title run, which was legend. Wait for it. Derry, it was just fan freaking tastic. And then he lost it and was never booked again. He got divorced. Lana went out and started doing her damn thing. And then he just never was, he just kind of fell off the damn map. And it's kind of sad to see that AEW was using him better than WWE was, but now they just, I don't know if it's him, whatever, lost interest. But too bad to see Miro. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him back as Rusev in WWE, but
and that was the thing about Vince McMahon, was if it got over with the fans and it wasn't a Vince McMahon idea, Vince hated it, and that's why Wade Barrett never got pushed properly, because he was getting over organically. And Rusev Day was one of the most popular things going in WWE. And Vince was like, okay, well, it's time to scrap it because it wasn't his original idea. And so now that Triple H is in charge, I could see him coming back to WWE as Rusev, and imagine him versus Gunther, him versus, some of the other big names, Seth Rollins, him versus Cena in the Cena retirement tour. I mean, there are all kinds of things that Rusev can do if he goes back to WWE. He could also go to TNA and do really well there. So there's options for him. But it's unfortunate that it couldn't work in AEW, but also not surprising. He hasn't been used in forever.
No, and we're countdown to Vince's documentary, right? What is it, the 28th or something? Or
the 26th, I think. Yeah.
We're still going to do episodes on that. So
yes.
All right. What's your last thing of news? Let's hear it.
The other big news, and it's all but confirmed. We're waiting for the official announcement, but the TV deal of all TV deals is finally upon us.
TV
deals. We've been waiting for any kind of details, and apparently, according to some John Orand at Puck, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, and Puck is a media outlet that I had never heard of until
super accurate. Now. That's good. It sounds like Tony Khan hired somebody to create a website and put this out there.
Angelfire.com / AEW TV rights, or geocities.com / AEW. But according to this Oran guy, AEW's TV rights package with Warner Brothers Discovery is all finalized, and it will be a 4-year contract, with 3 of those years being guaranteed and the 4th being an option for Warner Brothers Discovery. So they could choose to opt in if they want, if the ratings are good and everything. the amount AEW will be getting for their content looks to be within the range of $170 million per year. So right around what we kind of thought. I think some people thought maybe it'll go up to 200, but it's around the 170 mark. TNT and TBS will still be the home to AEW programming, along with True TV. So True TV is they're trying to, according to this report, that Warner Brothers Discovery is trying to position that channel around the realm of sports. So True TV will get AEW replays, apparently, of Dynamite and Collision. And AEW is also pitching a package for broadcast networks and streaming. There is no word yet on what the future of pay-per-view will look like for AEW. The Max pay-per-view deal that's been previously reported on is still unknown. So there is, if this, the question marks with this is the $170 million just for the TV rights, or is that part of the Netflix or the Max pay-per-view deal, or is that a separate package? Is that happening at all? Are you still going to have to pay $50 a month for pay-per-views? Who really knows? But Tony Khan was also on Busted Open yesterday, and this is the CEO of a major wrestling company, but he did an interview with Dave LaGreca, and this is what he said. He basically didn't confirm anything, but he also kind of confirmed a lot of stuff. So he says, I didn't just imagine Tony Khan after World's End, where he has the wig and the sunglasses on from Tony Storm. But I didn't bring my sunglasses to the studio today, but the future is so bright. I need them. The future is that bright. I know there have been a lot of reports. I have not done any of the leaking. With all due respect to the fine people at the Puck establishment and the Puck people, I didn't talk to them. I know they have been reporting things that are very interesting. There are a lot of reports and rumors. I have not confirmed, and Warner Brothers has not confirmed anything officially. I think we have a really exciting future there. I can say with 100% certainty, AEW and TBS and TNT are here to stay for a long time. So essentially, AEW has a TV deal, and they're going to be on TV for the foreseeable, on Warner Brothers Discovery for the foreseeable future.
Cool beans. I mean, it's what we thought. Tony Khan has too much money to waste to not continue on with his little toy that he has. I think this is best case. The best case scenario is that they get that deal for TBS, TNT, and they keep their shows on there, and that they stream on HBO with the library and pay-per-views included in the Max. That will help AEW win. Do you know how many more eyeballs it'll put on your paper? When does AEW shine, according to not just the lame hardcore fans, but the general public in general, is their pay-per-views. That's where they shine, right? That's where they're supposedly, even though I think their last two suck, but supposedly that's where they shine better than WWE, right? So why not allow people for $15 a month or whatever it is? Like, I get HBO Max for free. I get every time I do something, they're like, good. 8 months for free, get a year. I don't remember the last time I paid for Max. And now Max supposedly is part of like a Disney deal where you can get it added on with Hulu for like what, $5-6 more bucks. So you have options. So why would people who have Max not tune in, right? You're a wrestling fan. Shoot, it's free. A lot easier than paying $60 to watch a pay-per-view that I never want to buy. I stream it on TikTok or whatever else and watch it that way. Like, I'm not going to pay for that. I just streamed the UFC too. I'm like, sorry, Dana, I'm not paying $90 I'll go to a bar to watch it, but I don't have bars that do AEW. You know what I mean? When I don't have my kids, I'll go watch UFC at Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. But if AEW did that, I would do that, but they don't. So this is best case scenario. Get eyeballs on the product. Maybe if you're streaming on HBO, if that's true, people will see the pay-per-views and people will say, holy crap, this is fantastic wrestling. Let me check out what Dynamite and possibly Collision have to offer as well. So I think it's a win-win.
I think they need to market it. Whatever they do, they need to market it. And I think they should do, stop doing these whack old Battle of the Belts things on TBS. Get rid of that shit, but do stuff, put stuff exclusively on Max. Like do kind of what WWE's doing with, they're doing Saturday Night Main Event, and it's going to be on Peacock and NBC. They'll do random shows like that, or they'll put like house shows on Peacock just for special events. Do stuff like that and put them exclusively on Max and promote the hell out of them. And I think it'll go a long way. But also, we don't know the finer details because Max has never really done anything live before, because they're best known for their pre-recording and their TV shows. So is it going to be a deal where you subscribe to Max and you have to pay $15 extra every month to watch an AEW pay-per-view or something? Because I don't want that. I want the whole library on there with all the pay-per-views, just like the WWE has with Peacock.
You need the library, and I don't think it's going to, because for one,
I hope not. Yeah,
Peacock doesn't do that. For two, Netflix isn't doing that. They're getting Tyson, Jake Paul, that's included, and we're getting Raw. You're not adding fees. So I haven't seen streaming devices do that, because honestly, what's the difference?
Yeah,
because you're on HBO now. The only idiots that do that are UFC, where they force you to go on ESPN Plus to do it and pay the extra, and I never do. Like I'm saying, I'm not going to pay $90 to do that crap. That's ridiculous. I don't know what world Dana White thinks. Well, and that's the thing too, because I just heard now that TKO announced that ticket prices for WWE events are getting even higher. They're basically getting rid of live events, and they are skyrocketing pay-per-views and Raws and SmackDowns, so we can't go anymore. And it's crazy because the UFC just did the spear thing with TKO, and it was a huge failure. I don't know if you read about it, but Canelo outsold it. Everybody watched Canelo instead of the spear. The spear event was a joke. I watched it. You couldn't even, if you were live, you couldn't see it. No matter where you were, even if you're in the front, you could barely see it, because the way it was presented, it was like $3,000 to get in. They were selling tickets at like $500 the night of, because nobody paid. Like, once again, I get TKO. If you want to pay your people more, you got to make them money, but they're still taking 80% profit, bro. Like, no one's gonna like I have a Raw on Monday in Ontario, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll take another day off to go watch it. Tickets are like $250 to get in, and then I lose money not working. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not paying $250 to go watch a Monday Night Raw. So I'm just not.
And that's where AEW, I think, can really thrive. Be the alternative. I know they're talking about
that alternative, not changes and like the alternative.
But
$50 to get in, bro, and then 200's front row. I get
exactly.
Make that money that way,
and market it
in their damn seats. Like that last event, a Collision, I couldn't even see the ring. They had to blacken out the crowd.
They turn all the lights off and
see. Yeah, man. Like, sell those tickets, and I'm talking everywhere, not just like in North Carolina where you live. I'm talking California, bro. Sell tickets when you come to the Forum for $50 as well, $75 to get in. That's how it should be. I don't know why, like,
all pay-per-views too. Like, be the true alternative, and if you build it, they will come. And if you you make it affordable, people will go, and they'll have a good time, and then they can use that as marketing as well. So who knows?
Millionaires like the UFC, like boxing, right? Like, millionaires would pay $20,000 to watch Floyd Mayweather fight because it was a vibe, right? That was like what you did. You showed off your Rolexes. You had your 20-year-old girlfriend with you with her fake boobs. Like, that was what you did, right? You wanted to get seen. UFC does that as well. You know who doesn't do that? Pro wrestling. So TKO needs to figure that out with WWE. Like, millionaires don't want to go watch WWE. That's not, pro wrestling isn't that. Look at the creators on TikTok. Pro wrestling isn't a $1 million fan base. It's really middle class, lower class fan base. So you need to cater to them, or I feel like WWE will start having some empty arenas as well. Just saying. I'm just saying. It's two different worlds.
As long as these tickets for WWE are crazy expensive, I just don't see people going, man. I really don't.
No, I'm not paying no $250 for a Raw. Get out of my face with that. I paid $150 and I sat 6th row at WrestleMania 17, bro. $150. I'm on the camera shot the whole damn time. That was $150. $150. I remember, like, $250 to sit in the 300s where I'm like, my nose is bleeding to watch a Raw. Thanks.
And
no thanks.
I don't. And like, WrestleMania tickets are going to be astronomical, and like, maybe when Raw goes to Netflix and they don't have as many commercials, maybe it's worth it. But when you pay $250 to go see a Raw, and 25-30% of it's commercial, so you're just sitting in a blackened arena waiting for the lights to come back on so they can be back on the air. Like, that takes the fun out of it. It really does.
And honestly, I'm thinking about that because I think you and I are gonna lose a lot of money going to Vegas for WrestleMania and not even go to WrestleMania. I think we're gonna have to do what we said and do Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and watch WrestleMania at a bar, because it's gonna be like 2. Because I even think those seats, we're gonna have to do like the 3 if they do the package thing. But have you noticed that WrestleMania tickets are always on sale by now?
Mm-hmm.
They have not come on sale yet. But yeah, because TKO's waiting. They're doing their little new payment. Those things are going to be in. Just wait. And it's going to cost you a lot more than me because you got to fly to see me, bro. But at least we can drive to Vegas. And hotels in Vegas will still be cheap. I've stayed in hotels in Super Bowl time, and when events have been there, and they're not. Vegas is always $100 a night. You know what I mean? That's just anywhere from 100 to 100. Vegas hotels haven't skyrocketed. It's everything around Vegas because they want you in, right? They want you to come in, sleep, and then just spend all your money on gambling, beer, and
the other thing too is we talked about this a little bit yesterday on our WWE episode, but NXT is starting to tour as well. And if anything's competitive to AEW right now, it's NXT. And they just had to move their second live event. It was supposed to be in St. Louis, and they moved it to, I think, Winchester, Missouri or something, which is a smaller arena. They were supposed to be in like the Enterprise Forum, which holds 22,000 people. Now they're going to a smaller venue that holds about 3,500 people probably because tickets was either crazy expensive or they just weren't selling.
That's true.
And that's when they announced that it was then. And that's why they announced Randy Orton was wrestling on the show, I think, to generate interest.
But it said Randy Orton in St. Louis because he's from St. Louis.
Yeah, he was going to be there, but now he's wrestling. Yeah. Yeah. So let me.
Oh man, see, and that's probably because the ticket prices were $200 to get in, and people are like, I ain't paying $200 for an NXT event.
Yeah, they're moving from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis has been relocated to the factory at the District in Chesterfield, Missouri, and the factory holds 3,000 people, and the Enterprise Arena held 22,000.
Oh, that's poor attendance for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I mean so it's not just AEW that struggles with tickets; it's WWE as well.
Oh yeah. Well, and NXT never travels. So all right, let's get back into AEW. Right? Yeah. Sorry, I went on a tirade. That was my bad. I'm so excited to see you. That's why I want to see you.
No, it's all good. Vegas. But kudos to AEW for their TV deal. I'm
assuming it's real. Yeah. So good. We need them. No matter how shitty their product has been lately. We need AEW. We need Impact or TNA. We need it as fans. Yeah. So we need to stop with this fake ass shit. I saw an old interview with MJF where he talked about that. I think he was on with forgot that Chris guy who does everybody, who's interviewed everyone. Dude, that guy interviewed Ken Shan. We need come on, y'all. Come in our show.
He gets everybody.
What the heck? He gets everyone, yeah. And he was a nobody like us at one point, and then he got people and became somebody. But
he was on the first episode of Dynamite too.
He was, yeah. But
backstage interviewer.
Yep. He interviewed MJF back in the days, and he was asking about that, something about WWE, and MJF like cut him off, and it was like, you need to stop with that tribalism shit. Like us wrestlers, we don't care. I root for WWE, just like my friends root for me in AEW. Like I watch them, I study them, and he's like, and you're not a true pro wrestler unless you watch everything. He was like, I go home, I watch G1 Global, I watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, I watch it. Because I have to learn what everybody's doing to better my craft and better my game, and fans should do the same, and this and that. And I'm like, hell yeah, I flipping agree. I'm so sick of that.
100%.
And people think too. Sorry to cut you off. People think too that when we harp on things, you know what I mean, that it's only AEW fans. When I post things and I'm negative about WWE, I don't ever get people like, oh, another WWE hater. But when I do anything negative about AEW, where I'm like, oh, I wish this would have been better, it's like, oh yeah, all you do is crap on AEW.
Yeah.
HBD, that's all you do. You freaking just hate AEW. No, dude, I harp on our last WWE edition we just posted yesterday. I harped all over the crap on WWE. Yeah, I just didn't think it was that great of a week. I'm gonna give my opinion. I don't think it's fact. It's just.
And I defend AEW a lot on our X account. I go on like people were talking today. People were talking about how, you know, this is why the company's in the damn spot that it's in, because of bullshit like this, because we're getting Will Ospreay and Ricochet on free television. Yeah,
it's on free TV.
It's in 2 weeks on TV on the 5-year anniversary show. But then when Triple H puts the Intercontinental title match between Jey Uso and Braun Breaker on Raw, everyone's like, oh, it's cinema. Papa H is cooking. It's like, come on now. Yeah. Like, let's be fair. Let's be fair.
I did not know Ricochet was a pay-per-view seller. Like, what?
Oh, it's not a pay-per-view.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So how are you mad? You thought Ricochet was gonna like put butts in seats and have people pay? I'm sorry to break it to you all. Ricochet is phenomenal. I love him, and I love his fiance even more. But here's the thing. He will forever be a B-level wrestler. That's just who he is. He's not that dude, and that is perfectly fine. You know how many wrestlers are going to go to the Hall of Fame as B-level wrestlers? It is what it is. Get the fudge over it. Him versus Ospreay on the 5th anniversary of Dynamite is good for business. You need to sell ratings.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone who gets mad is probably WWE haters. Or AEW haters. So stupid.
That's all they are. Yeah.
All right, let's start this show.
There's no build. There's no story.
The build was he signed. That's Will Ospreay said, "Please come. You can wrestle me." 2 weeks later, he was in AEW, and now he's wrestling him like a dirt. But like I said, he's gonna be gone. You'll see. You'll see. He'll be Miro'd after this match. Once he wrestles and loses because he's not beating Will Ospreay, get out of my face with that. You won't see him anymore. So it just is what it is. That's how AEW do it.
Hopefully not. Hopefully they'll turn it around. Hopefully they'll change things.
I mean, new contract, new everything. Got to build for the future, right? You got to hope for the best. And ratings do matter, and attendance do matter. I'm sorry.
Even with this new TV deal, yes, like ratings will still matter. Maybe not as much because Raw's going to be on Netflix and WWE, but it's still going to matter. That fourth year is an option year, and if you want AEW to be picked up, they need to step up their game with the ratings. So, you want to make sure you want them to want to renew, not I don't know. We're kind of on the fritz. We don't really know. So,
and Time Warner was on the edge, right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, Tony Khan said, "Look we're getting back. Fans are starting to like us again. This and that. We're back to the original." And they probably said, "Okay, you guys were cooking your first 2 years. You've sucked your last 3 years. If you're going to go back to that, we'll give you one more chance." I guarantee that's how it works.
Probably.
And my favorite part is, once again, AEW hardcore fans have said AEW has been better than WWE all 5 years. But now they're even like, AEW is back. You can admit when we started this podcast, WWE wasn't that great. So we used to harp on it constantly. We had episodes of WWE where every week it was like AEW. We're like, this is crap. What the hell am I watching? Why are we booking this? Why are we?
Yeah.
They all go to the shitter. You know what I mean? But WWE is just more established, and then started cooking with Triple H. All right, let's get going. You ready?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
As always, I'm going to go Rampage, then Collision, but we'll do it all as one. Let's go. Rampage review. The conglomeration defeats the Dark Order. I didn't even know they existed anymore. Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes argue with the Kingdom. They will fight next Saturday. Is that still the song? The thong?
No, not anymore. No.
It isn't, right? Yeah.
No, they got rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I liked
it because the ratings. Yeah. Camille defeats Robin Renegade in a non-squash match, which was super weird. Christopher Daniels challenges Jack Perry at Collision. We should probably talk about that. Roderick Strong defeats Beef. Pretty sure that was the name. Soraya and Harley win in a tag match. Jamie Hayter attacks Harley after the match. It was Beef, right?
It was Beef, yeah.
Takeshita defeats Action Andretti to close the show. Into Collision, Jack Perry defends his title against Christopher Daniels. Jack Perry then drives off in his small bus. Wheeler Yuta is interviewed but can't talk. Conglomeration and Hologram, the new Goldberg, defeat Beast Mortis and the Premier Athletes. When I say athletes, you say rock. Athletes suck. Oh, that was stupid. After the match, Mortis spears Hologram. The Learning Tree jump Orange Cassidy backstage. Hi, guys. Mariah May is challenged by Yuka. I'm not going to try to say the last name. Who talks like a chipmunk. She literally did. Go back and watch it. Wheeler Yuta defeats Anthony Henry after the match. Yuta is confused. He was going to fight the ref or something. Serena Deeb tells Queen Amanada, watch this match and learn how it's done. Anna Jay is back from Japan and she wants a title shot. Private Party and Commander win a squash match. Nigel McGuinness explains his shot at Bryan Danielson and says he'll end his career. Yuka defeats Serena Deeb. After the match, Mariah May tries to attack Yuka, but Yuka gets the upper hand, and Mariah May looks gorgeous. Top Flight are worked up and need to get on the same page. The Bang Bang Gang, remember those guys? And they defeat Cage of Agony. Queen Amanada defeats Robin Renegade. Tough week for Robin Renegade. After the match, the Queen. The House of Black want all the smoke. And when I say that, I mean they literally said we'll fight everybody. In the main event, FTR. Do you remember those guys? They always lose but win. Defeat the Grizzled Young Veterans, because why not? After the match, the Grizzled Young Veterans try to attack FTR, but the Outrunners make the save, and they pose with FTR with like muscle manning things, like their shoulders, and FTR show their guts to close the show, and that's a Rampage and Collision review. What you got, homie?
Oh man,
that's a lot going on.
There was a lot on this show, but I also feel like
both shows or one show. You are exactly correct.
Yeah, it feels like so much happened, but nothing happened at the same time. And that's all I got.
That's your review?
That's my review. But no, all right, we'll talk about. I mean, there's really nothing to bring up from Rampage. I mean,
Christopher Daniels challenging Jack Perry. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and then we got to talk about beef, because
beef, by the way.
I don't know.
Let's talk about beef first.
Yeah.
Beef came out and wrestled Roderick Strong. It's beef. I heard it and I was like,
I'm reading the results. Like, that's beef. Yeah, beef with Anthony Henry.
I'm sure he's from somewhere. I'm sure I'll get a Wikipedia TikTok response about beef.
But it reminds me of that. There was a wrestler, I think in Ring of Honor or TNA, Cheeseburger. I'm just like, what the heck?
He wasn't even beefy. Why is he beef?
No,
because he got a big schlong. Like, I don't understand why he's beef.
I don't know, but that's so funny. Oh man!
But we didn't see beef again. Maybe he's just a Rampage.
And they were the fan. I remember watching the match. The fans were chanting like beef, beef, beef the whole time. It was, oh man, yeah. Good showing from Roderick Strong, beating that beefy man.
It is. All right, Christopher Daniels, right? We can talk about him facing and challenging Jack Perry. So he challenges Jack Perry, and his excuse is that it's an open challenge, so anyone can take it. So he's not abusing his power. But is he not a executive now, non-wrestler? And then he challenges Jack Perry, who opens up Collision by rolling up in his small bus. They decide to follow him, but not completely still from WWE. So they cut off, and then they have him enter, and then they continue. And then he basically squashes Christopher Daniels. That match was like not competitive at all. And then Jack Perry walks off and basically says, if you hate me, go F yourself, and then jumps in a small bus, tries to skid out, and it's embarrassing, and it's like smog smoke all over the place. But what was the point of having Christopher Daniels abuse his power if you were just going to have him basically get like manhandled by Jack Perry? I thought it was all a little weird. I'm glad to see Jack Perry being showcased and dominating and whatever you're trying to do with him, but weird booking from Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, AEW logic, man. Like, apparently announcers can get title shots, and now authority figures can also get title shots. So who knows? But yeah, that whole concept was weird. And like, is Christopher Daniels still in the position of authority? Because I mean, like, but then what the heck is the point of the Young Bucks? Because they're still there, and Tony Khan's still there. But
the Young Bucks don't have authority anymore. Remember, when's the last time you heard them say anything?
That's true.
They've now just like
they've kind of
Tony
like
Khan's at the arenas now. They go see him.
So what is the role of Christopher Daniels? That's what I don't understand, because he's Tony Khan. He was supposed to be there to run the show in Tony Khan's absence when he had his neck injury, but now Tony Khan's back, and so I don't know. I don't even know anymore. But
he runs Rampage and Collision, right? Because he's not ever on Dynamite. Am I mistaken? I don't see.
Well, he's been on Dynamite. He's been on Dynamite a couple of times. He's
recently.
He was there with MJF when MJF turned heel, and he came out and said something.
Oh, you're right.
You'll be wrestling Will Ospreay at or Daniel Garcia, So, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I do like it from Jack Perry's side, because Christopher Daniels, as much as he hasn't done anything in AEW, he is a world class. I mean, I remember him from TNA. I remember him, from when he was the Fallen Angel and everything, and he was great. And I think getting a win over him is pretty impressive for a guy like Jack Perry. It's a good win for Jack Perry as you continue to showcase him. So,
I fully agree with that. But can I just say one thing? Because Christopher Daniels on the mic has been atrocious, I don't know why. Because I don't know if you fully listened to his promo on Rampage, but he ended it, and I just want to ask you, what this means. I didn't even write it down. I know it. I remembered it. It'll be embedded in my brain forever. He said, Jack Perry, pack a lunch because I'm going to be kicking your ass.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me why Jack Perry would have to pack a lunch to get his ass kicked? Was that a flub? Was he like, because it's going to be a long night? Like, I get that. Like, pack a lunch because you're going to be like in it for the long run. Like, you need but he just literally said, Jack Perry, pack a lunch because I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah, and that doesn't make any sense, but yeah,
cool.
I don't understand what that was. I don't understand what that was all about. I don't understand that line. Because even then, like, Collision airs at night and it's on, so you're not having more like get your dinner, go to the concession stand, get some nachos, get ready, something, but not lunchtime. Like lunch is like at lunchtime at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I agree. All right. What else do you want to talk about? These two things before we move on.
Nothing really. From Rampaging. I mean, we can talk FTR and why.
Yeah, I do want to talk about that. Yeah, go ahead.
I like FTR, and I have all. They're one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
Agreed.
They're great in AEW. I'm happy to see them there, and I'm happy that they're not doing these rah-rah speeches about how great AEW is every week now. But you just brought the Grizzled Young Vets in to AEW, and you're trying to establish a tag division, which has been one of your weaknesses over the last few months, especially in 2024. And you have the Grizzled Young Vets, who are an established tag team, trying to make a name for themselves in AEW. You have them lose to FTR. Why not put the new tag team over by having them beat FTR on this episode of Collision and kind of help them move up the ranks? So, I mean, I know rankings aren't really a thing anymore, but have them move up so they can get some wins under their belt before they fight the Young Bucks, or then that's another solid win over a solid tag team. And now you're building tag teams in the division. So I don't understand why they had them lose to the FTR in like their third or fourth match in AEW.
Yep, fully agree. And that was my problem. WWE and AEW's tag team divisions both suck. But AEW at least showcases them and has them wrestle and has things like, other than the champs, but tag teams are always featured on the show. So at least they're putting in the work. But the biggest problem is that it's always the same damn teams. Why is FTR, the Acclaimed, I guess, and other, like, and the people like the Grizzled Young Vets and Private, they're all getting their ass whipped. Like, you need to build, you're going to have FTR job to some of these guys to boost them up, to give them credibility. And it's what they lack. And that was very, very disappointing. I one last thing too is that Rampage and Collision, I'm okay with Rampage feeling pointless by having like the Dark Order on, or Robin Renegade, or Saraya and Harley wrestling, whatever else. Like you're like Saraya. I got to give props to Saraya. For one, she's still super fine. I got to say, I love my women. I got to keep saying she's fine, but give her props, man. She is like
she's the face of Collision.
Rampage. Yeah, the face of Rampage.
Or Rampage, rather. Yeah.
Her gimmick with her family when it was around, when she's been like the Collision resident, like, hero, and I love it. But I watched Collision and I was like, dang it. Like, why is Collision not SmackDown? I don't understand that. Like, why is Collision treated like a 3-hour episode of Rampage? It's just like a 2-hour continuation of what they did with Rampage. And it has been disappointing. Now, nonetheless, we did finally, AEW did something right, and we'll talk about it on Dynamite, where a lot of the Collision stuff and Rampage stuff continued into Dynamite. So now it's like flowing, right? Gotta watch Rampage, I understand Collision. Gotta watch Collision, I understand Dynamite. I love it. I think that's how it should be, to make people tune in more. But it's still like, you have Mariah May there, and you have, Jack Perry there, and you have all these people there, but they're wrestling. Nope, they're just wrestling random people. And we gotta make Collision feel. I don't care if your ratings suck. I don't care. That's where you put it on. You put it on Saturday, and everybody said it was going to fail. So make it work. We need title shots. We need big name people.
Make it feel important.
Big name people facing. Yeah, like that's what you need, and we need to continue with that. But I did like that it did go into, for once, like Dynamite. Like most of everything on Collision parlayed into Dynamite, so that was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked a lot of that, and yeah, that they need to do more of that. They need to have Rampage feed into Collision, have Collision feed into Dynamite, and then treat Collision like it's important. Why not have Jon Moxley in the BCC on Collision from time to time? And I know they used to be, but like advance that story from Dynamite, move it on, put it on Collision. Why not have big matches on Collision and make it feel important? Why not have a Collision Grand Slam? And maybe they are. Maybe they're doing something next Saturday too that we don't know about. But I don't know. But they got to make it feel important. That was my problem. Like I saw the card for this show going into it, and I didn't want to watch it because I was like, this looks atrocious. Like I don't want to watch any of these matches. And it was actually an entertaining show, so you can't judge a book by its cover. But they got to treat it like it's more important than what they're utilizing it as.
I agree fully. I agree. All right, you ready for Dynamite?
Always, man.
All right, let's get into it. Dynamite review. Orange Cassidy defeats Chris Jericho. Hi, guys. To open the show, Pac and Claudio tell Wheeler Yuta they have a trios title to defend, so he needs to get back to work. And then Mox says Yuta can join them or leave. Doesn't matter. He's good with it. Yuta responds saying he'll be there, but he's still confused. He forgot he was a trios champion. I don't know what's happening. Beats a guy in a minute. Commander and Private Party are getting trios title shots. See, that's what I thought. Christian Cage is the next world champ, and he threatens Kip Sabian. Serena Deeb and Mariah May versus Yuka and Queen Aminata ends in a DQ match when Mariah May whips Yuka with the belt and then kisses her. But don't you worry, Mina is going to have Mariah May's wish come true because Mina is coming. Thought it was weird saying. Private Party and the BCC walk out and get attacked by Private Party. They then take out Private Party, then take out Commander. Darby Allin comes out and says he'll defeat Mox and win the title. We get a Jack Perry hype video. Ricochet defeats the Beast Mortus. Hangman Page comes out for a promo and he talks about Swerve, but out comes Jeff Jarrett and they brawl until security breaks it up. Ricochet tells Will Ospreay backstage that he'll face him for the title at the 5th anniversary show, and he turns heel? I don't know. He was very heelish. And in the main event, Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, and Takeshita defeat the Elite to close the show, and that's the Dynamite review. I didn't miss anything, right? It was so quick when I wrote everything down, I'm like, I feel like that was everything. Did I miss something?
Did you get the Hangman Page, Jeff Jarrett?
Yeah. He came out. Yeah, Hangman Page and Jeff Jarrett. Yeah. I thought Serena Deeb was on Dynamite, but maybe she wasn't. But either way, all right. That's Dynamite. I think it's because the matches were so long. That's why. We had long matches. Orange Cassidy and Jericho went on for a while.
Serena Deeb was on there. It was a tag match. It was Mariah May and Serena Deeb.
Oh, I did. Oh no, not Queen Aminata. Saraya. Yeah.
Oh, Saraya.
But maybe she wasn't. Okay. All right.
Yeah, she was on.
Saraya, I think she keeps her ass on Rampage.
Yeah, she was on Rampage, and that's when Jamie Hayter came out.
Jamie Hayter.
Becky Lynch, also known as
dude. She looks. We haven't seen Becky Lynch since Homegirl came back.
She needs she's gonna become the guy, Jamie Hayter. That should be her gimmick. And have the man Becky Lynch and the guy. You got to beat the guy to be the guy.
To be the guy, you got to beat the guy. But oh man! All right, what do you want to talk about on this?
I mean, let's get into the controversial topic of the week, and which is Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. Is it too soon for that match to be happening? Because that's the topic all over social media.
No, and I'm surprised. So I was behind on everything. I was on vacation, so I didn't see all the controversy, which you were telling me about. But we can go back and rewind. I wish you could and show the clip when we talked about Ricochet Dave signing with AEW. And the first thing I said was he's going to wrestle a few people. He's going to wrestle Will Ospreay within a 3-month span, which is happening even sooner. And he's going to disappear and not be on TV anymore. That's just how it's going to work. He came to wrestle Will Ospreay, signed a whatever long contract to just become a lesser Ricochet than he is in WWE. And I have to say, he has been. His matches have been whacked. The Beast Mortis match did not entertain me. His finisher sucks. I think he's a worse version of himself. I don't understand what's happening, but I'm not surprised by Will Ospreay and him at all. It did seem like he was turning heel, and I don't know why.
I hope he does.
Was he not? Wasn't he like
He called him Little
like,
Bro.
you're so
Yeah.
better than me, right? I gotta earn it, huh? Like, yeah, you gotta earn it. You're not just like you're
Yeah. I told
Ricochet.
you to
You
get
were,
some wins. Yeah.
yeah. It's not like you were somebody who was like a big deal. Like, yeah, fool. Like, so
I do.
I don't know.
I hope for his sake he does turn heel and maybe he cheats to win and he beats Will Ospreay somehow. Because I think Ricochet, like, what is his character? I don't know. Like, I can't.
Mm-mm,
He's a high flyer who's great in the
mm-mm,
ring, but that's not really a character. Like, what is his gimmick,
mm-mm.
and what is his purpose? So I think if he turns heel, it could give him a little bit of edge and give us a reason to care about him a little bit more and be invested in his. And maybe that'll kind of help things because right now he feels stale, even though he's only been there 3 weeks, and But even in WWE, he was feeling stale because he was doing the same thing every single week, and now he's doing
Yep.
the same thing in AEW. He needs to turn heel and he needs to have a little bit of an edge. And I think maybe they can do that on the 5-year anniversary show.
Yeah, and I did want to talk about that in Collision and Rampage, and I didn't. But like hologram, like you're trying to push this guy. He's basically a lesser Ricochet.
Yeah, he's basically.
And Ricochet is still, and you're trying to push this hologram guy. It's like the same person. I actually think it might be Ricochet.
Yeah,
So
I thought it was for a long time.
It's just, yeah, I don't get what we're doing here. The high flyer thing is fun, but the same.
Not when
match
everybody does it.
and
Yeah,
over and over. Yeah. I do have to say though, the opening match was fire, dude. Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho brought it. I thought Jericho shined. I was surprised that Orange Cassidy won. I think Orange Cassidy had a great match. I thought it was a good, fun time. I actually really enjoyed the opening. I thought it started off Dynamite, put me in a good mood.
yeah. No, I enjoyed the opener. Usually when these matches go 20, 30 minutes or so to open the show, I kind of fast forward a little bit, but I didn't. It kept me entertained. I was on the edge of, I wouldn't say I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, but I was entertained by it. I didn't want to change the channel while watching it. Chris Jericho looks great. I'm still not a big fan of this gimmick, but I was impressed with this match. And I mean, obviously the man can still go at 56 years, however old he is. And Orange Cassidy, I mean, he's a workhorse in AEW for sure.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the end of the learning tree,
so.
or are we still continuing? I don't know.
Oh, they'll continue the gimmick, but they got to move on from this Orange Cassidy feud.
Well, let's get into the big news. BCC, how you feeling? We had a Wheeler Yuta interview. We had the Claudio and Pac interview, but then Pac wasn't with BCC later on. Then they jumped them all. So what talk about it all. What'd you think?
I thought it started off well, and then it was kind of a hot mess, and then it kind of ended well. We talked about how Collision kind of fed into Rampage or fed into Dynamite, and this is an example of that because we had the Wheeler Yuta stuff from Collision where he had the match and he beat somebody, and then but his head really wasn't in the game, and they brought that up in this episode of Dynamite, and he left his his trios championship in the locker room, and just all this. I mean, it was good stuff. He got the date wrong of the show, and I feel like I feel like he flubbed that, and they kind of protected him by being like, and he kind of saved it by saying,
"You think so?"
My head's not really in. Yeah, because he was like, Wrestle Dream, and they was like, oh, it's not Wrestle Dream, it's Grand Slam, and then
okay,
and then he was like, oh, well, as you can see, my head's not really in it
Yeah.
lately, and so I kind of dug it. I'm curious. It makes me intrigued to see what happens next week on Grand Slam. Does he show up with them? Does he turn on them? Does he turn on Bryan Danielson? Does he join them? So there's, I'm intrigued in that regard. But yeah, like then the private party attack, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why Pac wasn't out there. It made no sense to me.
Yeah, I mean they're attacking private party because they're wrestling, and Commander was there. That's why the private party. I didn't mind the beatdown, but it's weird because we were doing predictions soon, but I don't think.
And Jon Moxley completely he was walking to the ring, and then out came Isaiah Cassidy from nowhere, just like uppercutted Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley just kept on walking. He did completely no-sold it.
Dude, Ed Marino whooped their asses. She was beating them up and threw them over the rail. I was like, damn, you're having like the girl beat them up. Like, no offense to females, they can beat up by boys too, but like in wrestling, not usually. I was kind of like, all right, well, that's a good first match for you guys. Yeah. And Darby coming out saying his dumb shit. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think Darby has a. Well, we'll get into it, but I don't know if I'm any more intrigued by it. Like Wheeler Yuta being conflicted, that means I have to care about Wheeler Yuta enough to see what side he picks. But I don't. If Wheeler Yuta stays with the BCC, I don't give a shit. And if he leaves, I don't give a shit. And this whole episode was dedicated to me giving a shit about Wheeler Yuta. But that doesn't take away from what they're doing, and what they're doing is well. So that's how you build stories and build character and build. But that also makes me think that Wheeler's going to be conflicted during the trios match, and that will lead to, the Mox and Bryan Danielson match that we're probably now going to get, because I don't see why they wouldn't have that if they're having Wheeler Yuta be conflicted. Because he even said, like, I feel for Bryan Danielson, but he taught me that no matter what, you stick through it, and you be your same person, even if the people around you are not. So
and
AEW shit out of him.
AEW is where the best wrestle. Rah rah rah. I was waiting for him to pull out like why AEW is so great speech, but and that's my thing. I think Wheeler Yuta could be somebody that AEW could build around. I mean, the man is good in the ring. I think he's pretty decent on the microphone. He has a good gimmick. He has a good character. He had the match earlier. Was it last year when MJF was a heel and he was one of MJF's first opponents? And so I think if he goes away from the BCC, they could kind of, make him kind of like the Daniel Garcia type where, we care about him a little bit and give him a gimmick, give him a character, see if it works. I think it could work, but it's got to start soon. He can't be the lackey of the BCC. So I think he should turn, but we'll see.
Yeah. And I think he is. I think they're trying to build him right now. All right. Anything else? I think the last thing is Hangman Page, maybe, and we cover almost everything.
Yeah, Hangman Page and Jeff Jarrett. So I actually I'm glad we talked about this because I want to talk about wrestling. This is a wrestling pet peeve of mine, and it's not just an AEW thing. It's a wrestling thing all across the board. But pull apart brawls. What's the logic behind them? Because like when you get security out, like so Jeff Jarrett is out there beating up Hangman Page, and they have to get security out there. They have to get Sansom Singh and Jay Lethal out there and Karen Jarrett to break it all up. But Jon Moxley can take a hammer to the hand of Isaiah Cassidy, and the crowd's chanting "You sick fuck, you sick fuck."
Yeah.
And there's no security. There's nobody there to break it up. Nobody's there doing anything. It's like, wait a minute. Like Jon Moxley's putting a bag over Bryan Danielson's head, and there's no security. Nobody comes out to break it up. Nobody stops it. But old man Jeff Jarrett goes and throws a punch at Adam Page, and we can't have that.
Old man Jeff
it's just like what is? It's always been a pet peeve of mine. Like either have them on every single thing, or don't have them at all. But it's just
I agree. I agree, and I think Hangman Page right now is, maybe you can say Mox is, but probably the hottest thing going on right now with what's he's doing, and he just defeated Swerve Strickland, who was the best wrestler in AEW, and now we just have him feuding with Jeff. And I know they're trying and Jeff Jarrett, but Jeff Jarrett, get behind the scenes, help book the shows, make Tony Khan's promotion better. We don't need you on the screen. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to this. And 100% Hangman's winning. So what is that going to do for Hangman's career? Like he beat Swerve and then he beat Jarrett. Now I'm like, now he's the real deal. Like that Swerve win got me, but
I will say if they're going to use Jeff Jarrett, this is how I want him to be used. I don't want him in
threat to the biggest wrestler in the organization.
No, not really. Not in that regard, but like I'd rather have this than have Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Match, Halloween Havoc.
Two of them, remember? Two of the worst matches.
Yeah, like I'd rather have that. I'd rather have what we're getting with him now because he's not going after a championship. He's there to put over Hangman Page. Hangman Page is going to win. He's going to probably steamroll him, and he moves on to bigger and better. So I'm happy. I don't mind how they're using him. It's not like he's going after a title. He's not holding a belt that he shouldn't be holding. And he's not taking up a lot of microphone time. A lot of people don't like the learning tree stuff because it's not only is it bad, but it's also just he's taking up so much time on television. Jeff Jarrett's there for a 10-minute segment to help elevate Adam Page. So I'm okay with it in that regard, but just not. It's better than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre horror match of Firefly Funhouse, Pitch Black match, or whatever we got with him
with him
and the Hardy Boys or whatever. So
Oh, that was atrocious. Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I am looking forward to hopefully whatever Hangman does after this. So
Yeah, it's just a way to get Swerve back.
it is for sure. Give Swerve some time. He deserves some time. All right, that's our AEW weekend review. Good week. I think it was a good week. Way better than what we were talking about last week. And like you said, I'm looking forward to what's moving forward. We got some things coming up and pay-per-views and anniversaries. So, and maybe announcements of signing and pay-per-views being on HBO Max. So the future, I agree, is bright with Tony Khan. Maybe I'll put my shades on too. All right.
Yeah,
you ready?
The fact that they're coming up on their 5th year too, it has flown by. These 5 years have flown by, and good for them.
Yeah, 2 of them were COVID, so that's why.
True. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get into it. I know you got the jam, but it's our segment, and it is prediction time, ladies and gentlemen.
It's prediction time. Before it ever happens, it's a prediction. Lean in close, take notes, listen. Cause they about to point it out quickly. All the things that you didn't see is getting called like plays at the line of scrimmage. You can take it to the bank, the dudes ain't tripping. They've been seeing what's coming for a good minute. It's prediction time, yeah, let's get it.
All right, so we are doing some Dynamite Grand Slam predictions, and I feel like these are the 6 easiest predictions of all time, which means I'll get 5 of them wrong. All right, looks like you're starting it off. Let's do Hook versus Roderick Strong for the non-existent FTW Championship. Who you got?
They should just make this a title now because it's defended all the time. And I'm gonna go Hook. Hook's gonna retain. This is who Hook is. This is his title, and he hasn't really grown anymore since he wrestled for this title at All In last year against Jack Perry. He wrestled for it at All In this year against Jericho. He's not losing it. And Roderick Strong, as bad as the Undisputed Kingdom is, I think he deserves better than what he's getting. Roderick Strong I think he's fantastic. I love his character. He's good on the mic. So I think Hook wins, but Roderick Strong moves on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I agree. We got Hook winning. Hook needs to go to NXT. This man just faced Chris Jericho, and now he's facing Roderick Strong, who are 2 pretty big names in the pro wrestling world, and I still don't feel like he's evolving at all. But
not at all.
It is what it is. But yeah, Hook defeats Roderick Strong. Yeah, and got him defending his fake title. All right, you got next.
I could see somebody like Samoa Joe returning to help Hook or something to further that whole thing.
I forgot about Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I did too. But we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up, we got the Women's World Championship. Mariah May versus Yuka
Sakazaki.
Sakazaki, thank you.
Sakazaki. I don't know. Sakazaki.
All I know is that she talks like one of the chipmunks. So
yeah, well, I don't know
who you got winning, and why is it Mariah May?
I'm going with Mariah May. Mariah May is going to win this match. Hey there, pal.
Hey. Yeah, I'm assuming afterwards Mina's coming out or something, right? Is that what we're getting? But yeah. I 100%.
Or maybe Tony Storm comes back and.
Well, could she feud with Mina and Tony Storm? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, but Mariah May wins the end, and she's fine. So let's keep it moving. All right, we got the BCC versus Private Party and Commander, or to be announced for the Trios World Championship. Who you got?
BCC. Whether Wheeler Yuta helps them or not, the BCC is not. They're not losing those titles.
No, and they're going to keep the story going too. So I also agree with the BCC. I think Wheeler will be conflicted. He'll wrestle, then he'll not want to tag in, or he'll whatever.
He'll walk out on them or something.
Yeah, and then they'll go find them later. But yeah, BCC is keeping those trios. We're not giving it to Private Party and to be announced. All right. Although that's how BCC won the titles. So.
Yeah, I'd like to know how TBA got in the card. Like, where do they rank in the ranking system? Because how'd they get a title match? That TBA.
Him and Beef should make a tag team. All right. Next up, Beef and TBA. I do think it's Commander. All right. We got the tag team title match being defended. We got the Young Bucks versus Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. Who you got?
I'm going the Young Bucks. I think they're going to retain. I think this is Ricochet's going to like inadvertently cost Will Ospreay the match, and that's going to add more animosity to their feud when they compete at the 5-year show in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what's going to happen, and the Young Bucks somehow retain.
Yeah, the Young Bucks are 100% retaining because Will Ospreay is going to start feuding with Ricochet, amongst other. He can't have 2 titles. I see the Young Bucks winning, and I don't know why the Elite are still relevant, but it is what it is. All right, what do we got next? There it is, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship #1 contenders match. We got Jon Moxley versus Darby Pink Allin. Who do you got?
Jon Moxley is going to win. He's going to get the title match against Bryan Danielson at Wrestle Dream, I'm assuming, in Washington, which is Danielson's home state. But I think Wheeler Yuta is going to be conflicted in that trios match, and then he's going to turn on Darby Allin. He's going to low blow Darby Allin, cost him the match, and we're going to get Wheeler Yuta versus Darby Allin at a pay-per-view, and Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, and Wheeler Yuta is going to remain with the BCC.
Oh, you got huge predictions. I just got Jon Moxley winning. I don't think Darby wins, and I feel so bad because 3 weeks ago Darby Allin was getting a TNT title shot. He had earned a #1 contenders match.
Yeah, he was on top of it.
TNT, and if he loses his #1 contenders, what are we doing, Darby Allin?
Yeah,
I feel so bad.
That's why I think he's losing to shenanigans with Wheeler Yuta, and then him and Yuta are going to have a great match. And then Darby works his way back up.
Yeah, I just don't see Darby Allin pinning Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is the face of AEW. I mean, I think it's MJF, but people, disagree and say it is Moxley. I don't see him losing to Darby. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Especially to add him into this match at the last minute like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason they're doing that.
Yeah. All right, and the non-title main event, Nigel the Announcer McGuinness versus Bryan the World Champion Danielson. Who do you got?
The fact that it's now non-title makes me think Nigel McGuinness may actually get the win because of the BCC. I think the BCC will cost Bryan Danielson the match. Jon Moxley in particular will cost Danielson the match again. And then that'll elevate their feud going into Wrestle Dream or wherever they're going to do it. But yeah, so I think there's got to be something that happens at this show, and there's going to be some sort of shock, and I think it's going to be this. Nigel McGuinness is going to beat Bryan Danielson, especially with it being non-title now. If it was for the title, there's no chance in hell Bryan Danielson was losing.
No, I'm still going to go Bryan Danielson, but I like your theory. And this was the one that I thought, like, this one, maybe Darby Allin, that I could see like a surprise happening. Maybe even Roderick Strong, but like, I don't know. I'm still going to go Moxley, but I can 100% see Darby Allin. Or no, sorry, not Moxley. I'm going to go Bryan Danielson, but I can see Nigel McGuinness winning this match. But then that means they have to have one later again. I don't know. Yeah, but I'm still going to go with Bryan Danielson. But I can see it. I can see the BCC messing with it, especially if Moxley has already won his #1 contenders match by then. So
yeah,
all right,
yeah, and that means we don't know if that's going to be the main event. We don't know if this match closes the show or if Moxley Darby Allin closes the show. We're just kind of going off of what we think. But yeah, so it should be an interesting night for sure.
Not even if Bryan Danielson makes it.
Yeah, assuming he's healthy. He's got to be cleared.
Got to be cleared. I can't feel my fingers. All right, let's get into it. That was our predictions for Dynamite Grand Slam, and now we're getting to our favorite segment of the week, and that is the least valuable dude or dudette and the most valuable dude or dudette, as we call the MVD LVD of the week. And as always, we're going to start with the least valuable dude or dudette. Who is your pick this week, Ryan?
This one was harder than I thought it was going to be, but
it's a good week. Yeah,
I'm going to go. I almost wanted to go Robin Renegade just because she lost every match she was in.
Right.
But nobody knows who she is. I'm going to say, I'm going to go Private Party. I just think that, 2 weeks in a row, they have gotten their asses kicked by the BCC. Last week, the BCC beat them when they were making their entrance before a big trios match, and they just got steamrolled. And then this week, especially Isaiah Cassidy, he's getting beaten up by Marina Shafir. He's getting thrown over the ramp. He's Jon Moxley completely no-sold him. the crowd's chanting "You sick fuck" to Jon Moxley as he hits him in the hand with the hammer. So yeah, I think Private Party, man, they did not have a good week, and they were so confident answering that number one contender or the open challenge to the trios title, being like, "Oh, we'll get somebody, we'll go out there, they want to fight, we'll give them a fight," and then they go out there and try to give them a fight, and there's no fight to be had. And then Darby Allin comes out with his skateboard and like tries to fight everybody off. But that segment to me, just it was good. It wasn't great. And Private Party to me, just I feel like they're just using them to advance this story.
Yeah, that's good pick. Good pick. I agree, man. And the fact that they had such a bad week and last week leading into a title match really doesn't sell me on that match. I'm going to surprise you right now. I'm going to go Wheeler Yuta. And only, even though I think in the long run this is going to help his career, no matter which path he goes, I just think, man, this guy got basically kicked out of a group. He was held while his mentor was getting the crap beat out of him. And how does he follow that up with? A bumbling, I'm so lost, I don't know what's happening. Like, you're not going to make this man have a decision and say, like, look, F that. Maybe I will continue to defend my trios championship, but only because I'm true to my word and I earned that title, I'll defend it. But I don't like the BCC. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for my boy Brian Denton. Like, he just basically cowered off. Then he won a match, was going to beat up the referee, then chicken shit at that. Then basically the BCC was like, yo, bro, you're going to have a match, show up or else. Then Mox cut off and was like, also, we don't care if you're in our group or not. That's how freaking worthless you are. And then he follows it up with like, gee golly, well, Bryan Danielson told me that, is his name Bryan Danielson? I forget. But gosh, mister, I just really got to do it just because Bryan Danielson said I should just beat myself.
I really let my family down, didn't I, Dad?
Yeah, like it was just, he just looked
It's a Brady Bunch episode.
100%, and he looked super weak and stupid. Everybody, I was reading reviews, and they're like, "Oh man, he sold that so well." And his confusion, I don't think so. I think he just sounded like a moron. I don't know. I think in the long run, it's going to be great for him. This week, I feel like that's a loss of a week for that dude. He showed no.
I don't think he should have.
If you know what I mean.
I don't think he should have said anything. I think it would have been more sense if like, "Hey, Wheeler, any thoughts on the Trios Championship number one contenders? Are you going to be there?" And just walk on by, like look at him, have some no emotion, and walk on by, and then even have that guy be like, "Hey, Wheeler, you left your trios title in the locker room," and then like he takes it and just like shakes his head and walks away. Like
anything,
I would have been fine with that, but him all over the place like that. Like I don't think some of that was a mistake. I think like, oh, I'm excited about the match at Wrestle Dream, and the guy's like, whoa, it's not Wrestle Dream, it's Dynamite Grand Slam, and he wasn't like, oh yeah, right. It was like, oh yeah, you can see my head's not in. It was just, it was weird. It was very weird.
It was. All right, let's end with the positive. Who's your most valuable? Let's hear it.
Let me change the. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'll end it with a very good positive. I'm gonna say, and I don't do this very often, but I'm gonna give it to the AEW video production team. Minus the little snafu with Nigel McGuinness's video package where they played it, like they tried to start it while Taz was talking, and then they tried to play it after Taz was done talking, and then they had technical difficulties, and then they got the technical difficulties fixed, and they played it. They did 3 really good video packages on Dynamite this week. Did one for Hangman Adam Page. They did the one with Nigel McGuinness where they're interviewing Mark Briscoe, and they're interviewing Roderick Strong, and they're interviewing, a lot of the current and former ROH people about about the match with Bryan Danielson and the rivalry, kind of outlining it, giving me a reason to care. And then they did one with Jack Perry and his bus and the scapegoat stuff. And I thought it was all really well done stuff to really help elevate their stars. And I want them to do more of that. And they were good video packages. They were really high quality. They were, they were at the level of the WWE with their video packages and everything. So I really dug it. I liked all of them. And they did one last week with the BCC and Jon Moxley to open the show. It was really good. And so I was really pleased to see not 1, not 2, but 3 of those on Dynamite this week.
Great pick, man. And we said it last week too that they were getting better. So they have definitely stepped up their video game, which WWE has kind of done better than almost anybody.
Yeah.
Not just wrestling, just anybody.
Yeah.
All right.
AEW's killing it.
Yeah, good pick. I'm going to go with the one and only scapegoat, Jack Perry. I just got to say, this man got called out by an executive on Rampage, got a beginning intro where he showed up in his small bus, left the door open and it running, went out, whooped that executive's ass, left, walked right back into his van, his small bus, which had not moved, still running, door open, got in it, drove off, then had a video package to die for on Dynamite. That just, here's the thing. Good. I'm a Jack Perry fan because of Luke Perry. I was the biggest Dylan McKay fan when I was a child watching 90210. He's my hero, and that's his son. So I like Jack Perry no matter what. But I can see why people laugh at what they're doing with him right now, because they kind of have him with the CM Punk vibe where he's like badass. Like he comes out drinking coffee, throws it, walks all hardcore with his no muscles and his 5'8" frame. So I can see why people are laughing at this, but it's a win because AEW, is invested in him, man. They are giving him the spotlight, having him beat up Christopher Daniels, giving him like a 5-minute video that was fire.
Yeah.
Like with the cops, like, we gotta stick that on a list, we gotta find, like, it's all just like stuff done really well, man. So the fact that Tony Khan wants to push this guy and showed that he didn't like lose his world title shot, he surrendered it to move on to bigger bet. It was just really well done. Props to Jack Perry. He's my most valuable dude of the week. Dude's getting pushed to the moon, man.
He's killing it right now. And I would say of all the pillars right now, Jack Perry's up there. He's doing his damn thing. I mean, MJF's, you know, who knows what he's gone. Sammy Guevara is teaming with Dustin Rhodes, and it's not even on
with the
TV.
Stupid haircut.
Yeah. And then you know, Darby Allin just had his good. He's doing okay, but he just lost his world title match. Didn't even get the world title match after winning a Royal Rumble. But Jack Perry, man, he's doing his damn thing, and I'm glad to see that he has recovered from everything that happened with the CM Punk stuff. Everything that happened, because I was worried. You know, I'm glad they brought him back. It was the right decision to bring him back. I don't know if I agree with them choosing him over CM Punk. I feel like, but at the same time, you know, Punk had to go. He didn't want to be there. Jack Perry wants to be there. He wants to succeed, and I think he's showing it right now. He's doing great stuff. I'm happy for him.
He is, for sure. All right, that's our weekend review for AEW, man. Good week, AEW. Maybe a better week than WWE. I don't know. WWE
it was pretty good.
But we'll see. Yeah, they both had their hits and misses. But as always, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week for another AEW edition with hopefully more positive stuff. Let's go, and maybe an announcement of what we're doing with TV shows and pay-per-views moving forward.
Yeah, you need to announce something.
They do. As always, I'm the HBD Denton on all social media devices. You can catch me there. We post it on TikTok, Instagram. I need to start getting on the X thing too, getting my world bigger there. And with me, as always, is the man with the plan.
At Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go follow us on TikTok at 2 Dudes with Attitudes. Speaking of, we need to get back on that as well. And I know we say it every week, but we will make TikTok exclusive content here once we get some time. At 2 Dudes PC on X. Go follow us there. I'm pretty active there. Ruffling feathers and talking trash to nut huggers of certain companies and everything. So it's fun stuff. And then we're on Twitch now because we're doing live episodes again every week. So follow us there. We're on YouTube where we got a couple of new subscribers this week after our WWE episode. So welcome to the team. But keep subscribing there and turn on notifications. So that way, every time we do a new episode, you'll get notified and alerted. And then, as always, if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, thank you for all the support. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. And let's get the word out, man. Get the word out about the 2 Dudes with Attitudes, because I think we're the best podcast out there, but we need you guys to confirm that.
Yes, sir. 2 Dudes Wolfpack.
2 dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the 2 dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the 2 dudes with the attitudes will bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.